Hello and welcome to DCN Weekly, your regular roundup of shipping and logistics in Australia. This is for the week ending the 27th of February, and I'm joined this week by journalist Caroline Tung. Caroline, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. We've got a lot of interesting stories coming out this week. It's been a very big week for our newsroom.
It certainly has, hasn't it? There've been lots of stories pinging into the inbox, and it's been pretty interesting to see which ones have been most engaged with. But I think one of the ones, hands down, that everybody seems to have taken an interest in is the movements at WiseTech. So, Caroline, you covered this one. Can you talk us through the big developments this week?
Yeah, of course, Lindsay. WiseTech has announced in their latest ASX statement they'll be cutting 2,000 jobs within the next 2 years. And that is actually close to 30% of their entire workforce. And this is due to a shift, the company said, to becoming an AI-led organisation, which was the reason behind these job cuts, they said.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting that they came straight out and said that was the reason. Have we had much reaction to that in terms of the whole AI aspect of the decision?
Yeah. So, look, it is one we are following very closely. We've had some leaders in Australia come out and say, look, it is a pretty reactive move from WiseTech. And look, we're also sitting tight to see what happens, really. It's basically a step aimed at, firstly, boosting productivity is the most immediate impact on software and perhaps their product development. And that's also following in what other tech giants like Facebook and other big players did in 2025. So, yeah, it is a pretty substantial move.
Yes, I know we've had members of the industry reach out with comment, and we are busy collating that for a follow-up next week. So it'll be interesting to read across the board the reaction there. And it is over the next couple of years, isn't it, that the jobs will be cut? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So all the way up to financial year of 2027, they'll be gradually cutting jobs up until that point.
Okay, well, let's move on to another story that's been making waves with DCN readers, and it's a good news story. So the All About Shipping Top 100 Women in Shipping list was released earlier this week, always hotly anticipated, and we had 2 Aussies on the list.
Yeah, that's right. So we had maritime lawyer Alison Cusack, based in Melbourne, who started her own firm specialising in contracts for Australian businesses. And she came in at number 43 on the list this year. And then we have Sue Dyte, the Regional Director of Mission to Seafarers, ranked at number 45. And a huge jump from last year. She was ranked 76. And I'd say it's just a phenomenal effort. Cracking the top 50 for the 2 Aussies is pretty amazing, considering Australia is a much smaller market compared to, international markets like London and Singapore. And they were absolutely stoked when I spoke with them earlier this week.
Yeah, I bet. And it's so well deserved. It is. It's great to see Australian names on that list, and particularly, those 2 women who are well known for their tireless efforts in the industry. And it's no mean feat. I understand that for any votes to count in that survey, you have to be within the industry. It's quite a stringent, strict process. So it's not an easy thing to get onto. Credit where credit is due, and of course to everyone who made the top 100. And I think we have a link to the full list in the article.
Yeah, that's right. And it's kind of funny. Sue Dyte, during my conversation with her, actually said, but I had so much going on, I actually forgot to vote. and she did use the top 100 listing as an opportunity to highlight the importance of seafarer well-being and draw attention to that area of the industry to the broader community.
Yeah, absolutely. The work that she's been doing there is tireless, and we actually have a piece from Sue on the website this week. So yeah, do jump on and have a read of that. So moving on to some other news that's been making in the headlines this week, IFCABA's been back in the news with their submission to the National Transport Commission.
Yes, that's right. So this was in response to earlier findings by the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, so the ACCC. They've actually recommended an annual pricing window for stevedores to notify their customers of any adjustments to the landside stevedoring charges. And the second thing was introducing a notice period for adjusting those prices in the first place. So the proposed time period was a 60-day notice of intention and then a 30-day final notice as what they're calling an appropriate minimum standard for a pricing update.
So this is part of a call for submissions from the ACCC, but what are the timeframes around this?
Yep, so the NTC consultation for the National Volunteering Guidelines is ongoing. So it's not too late to make a submission until the 13th of March.
Okay. All right. Well, again, it's another one we will be following closely. So moving back on to another one of our top read stories this week, and that was the news that NSS are launching a new container facility and logistics hub, and that's happening at the Port of Townsville.
Yeah, that's right. The Northern Stevedoring Services, they have announced dedicated support for 230 refrigerated containers at their new logistics facility. So their storage capacity is now 4,200 TEU, and it is now the largest storage facility at the Port of Townsville, which they are very proud of.
Yeah, I imagine they are. And certainly judging by the number of hits on that story, there's a lot of interest in that project. And we've actually got a lot of information around projects across the country in our new issue, which is out now. So if you're a subscriber, that should have landed in your inbox and be winging its way to your desk as well. But this edition, we decided to put in a whole feature dedicated to port and terminal development, just because there's so much of it going on at the moment. So Caroline, you had a good look into some of the projects. There's a lot going on between container terminal development and intermodals.
Yeah, that's right. Look, we looked at projects around the country. We've got North Queensland Bulk Ports talking about the building the new container terminal at the facility at the Port of Mackay. That's making waves in our industry at the moment, and really just to take advantage of this strategic location. You know, this need to actually balance containerization and multi-purpose capability has become a priority for their management.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, and as I said, it's a focus that we felt we had to take with this edition because it's important to showcase the development and investment that's going on. And in addition to that feature, you will also see features on training and education, as well as break bulk and specialized cargo. It's a very forward-looking edition. Lots of talk about where we are heading as an industry, and a great one to kick off the new year with. Well, I think that covers our most read. We don't have time to cover all of the stories that we have featured this week, but do hop onto the website and have a look. And don't forget to sign up to our daily newswire to get all of the daily news into your inbox each morning. So that's it from us. Caroline, thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And thanks everybody for listening. We will catch you again next week.